Hey, welcome back, folks. This is James, the unofficial mayor of Cowboy Country. I am so glad you are here. Hope you like the shirt. It's almost a little bit more Tennessee orange than Oklahoma State orange, but my fiance bought this for me. It's an authentic polo shirt. It's very comfortable. So thank you to my better half. We are going to talk about our beloved Big 12. And no, the Cincinnati bobblehead hasn't come in yet. Actually, let's put you down here. Not that you're better or worse than anybody, but the fact that you got a heavier stand means you'll keep everything else stable. I do that and all the bobbleheads start bobbling. Anyway, let's get right to it because we got 14 teams. We're going to look at my predictions for the 2023 season. I'll just say it up front. I'm going to be biased towards the teams that were already in the Big 12. I think it's going to take a couple of years for the other teams to improve their rosters and be competitive. That being said, somebody's got to be last, and unfortunately for me, I think it's going to be Houston. I'm predicting them to finish 2-10. What I may end up doing is once I get my Phil Steele magazine, I'll revisit this and go game by game, so these numbers might change. But I think Houston's going to have a hard time adjusting to being in the Big 12. I would say the same for Cincinnati. I got them finishing 3-9. I think they lost a lot of players, and the biggest loss was Luke Fickell. And there's a reason why Wisconsin wanted him. He was one of the best coaches in all of college football, and I think Wisconsin got a great hire. I feel good for Wisconsin and terrible for Cincinnati. UCF, I have 4-8. Like I said, it's going to take them some time. Do I think with their coach, used to be at Auburn, has won a national championship, is it going to take him long to get things to where he's competitive and a contender in the Big 12? No, I don't think it'll take them very long. In fact, with the transfer portal, it may only take 1 or 2 years. So UCF has a lot of potential. They really do. Iowa State, I'm just going to say 4-8, and hear me out. All you Cyclone fans, you got great facilities. I did a video on them at the beginning of 2023. At the beginning of this year, I was up in Ames. You guys have great facilities. It really is going to depend on Hunter Dekkers. He's got a cannon for an arm, but he's got to grow. And the more he grows, the more that is going to be wrong. Where if he has a huge improvement from his freshman to sophomore year, it is very possible that Iowa State could end up 6-6 in a bowl game. So that's not impossible. But I'm just going on based on their performance last year. BYU, of the 4 teams, and I'm not saying this just because I was there last year and in person, but of the 4 teams, BYU has the best chance, I think, of adapting to the Big 12. I don't think they're going to go to a bowl game, but that 5-7 prediction could easily bump up to 6-6 with just one game. So, yes, I think the Cougars are a great addition to the Big 12. They recruit a lot of people from the islands. I'm trying to think of the correct term of Samoan and heritage. And so they've got some big guys up front. And so they're going to, I think, of all the 4 teams that are coming into the Big 12, they'll be the ones that will adapt the quickest. In fact, they played like 4 or 5 teams from the Pac-12 last year, and I believe they won all 5 of them. Maybe they went 4-1. I'll have to look it up, but they did. They had a lot of success against Pac-12 teams last year. West Virginia, I have at 6-6, and the reason is because of their quarterback Green. I think, looking at their history, and I know Golden Blue Dude's looking down on me, and he would agree with me, that when they have had a running quarterback and they run a run-pass offense, you're in the shotgun, you run pass option, and you tend to run more than pass, and you got a quarterback that can handle that, they have been successful. The Pat Whites, who was that guy back in '86? I can't remember. I just know that they played Syracuse at the end and lost. And Major Harris. So they have a tradition of running quarterbacks. Very similar tradition that Va Tech has. So they've got a good running quarterback now. So I think they're going to have some success this year. I also put Baylor at 6-6, simply based upon I really like their coach. I trust their coaching staff. Baylor's coach is an interesting guy. He just seems like in his press conference, he's almost too relaxed. But he's very intelligent and defensive-minded coach, and I think they're going to do well. I honestly believe KU is not a fluke. I actually have them at 7-5. I was very happy for them that they finally got to go to a bowl game last year, and I think they're going to do it again. And I do hope, for their fans' sake, that this proposed renovation project for their football stadium gets started. Because I will say this: if you've ever seen Booth Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas, it's very plain looking, but the one advantage they have over compared to when Oklahoma State did their massive renovations is Oklahoma State had to sandblast the metal and repaint it before they could do anything else. With Booth Memorial in Lawrence, all of the major beams are surrounded in concrete, and it's solid, so you can build around it easily. So that's a good thing. I put OU at 7-5, just because they were a decent team last year. I thought they were, but they lost some talent, and I don't know if the people they got in the transfer portal are going to do well or not. I will say this: I don't think that Brett Venables will have a hard time. I don't think they'll have a hard time in the SEC. In fact, I think OU is going to do better in the SEC than Texas. I just think having a defensive-minded coach going into the SEC. I mean, Venables was a coordinator at Clemson. He's been in a winning program. He just needs to get another year or two to really get some of his players, his style of players in. In a sense, he's kind of like Mike Gundy in that he's not going to attract a whole bunch of 5-star guys. He's going to bring in a lot of blue-collar style players that don't have a lot of stars, but they got a great work ethic. So I honestly think that OU is going to have success in the SEC. Texas Tech at 8-4. Their coach has a lot of connections with high school coaches in the DFW area, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And they are starting to bring in a lot of recruits. Now, Slow, I think is Slaw, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, their starter quarterback. Honestly, I thought when I saw Morton have to come in as a freshman against Oklahoma State last year, I thought Morton looked amazing. How Morton is not the starter, I don't know. Maybe I just would have to see more film on him, but I will say this: if they think that other guy is better than Morton, then they got the best 1-2 punch in the Big 12 at quarterback, because Texas Tech is going to be good for a long time. I hope, for the people in Lubbock's sake, that he doesn't become a target of, say, a more prominent school. Because quite honestly, if things don't work out for Steve Sarkisian at Texas, the first guy I would go after is old boy at Texas Tech. And for the life of I'm blanking on names right now. It's late. I got homework to do, and I'm really tired. So please forgive me about that. I would just say this: I think the Texas Tech coaching staff's really good, and they're going to do well. I'm also predicting Oklahoma State to finish 8-4. Now, I know that Alan Bowman isn't getting a lot of love in preseason magazines, and that's a mistake on their part. I'm not making that mistake. Alan Bowman's a good quarterback. You got Ollie Gordon at running back. You got a plethora of wide receivers. All you got to do is listen to Robert Allen's radio show, and he talks about it from time to time. OSU is going to be better than they were last year. There is no way in the world they're going to have as many injuries this year as they had last year. That's not going to happen. Why did I pick Texas at 9-3? Well, I honestly think Quinn Ewers is a good quarterback. And the problem is they lost Robinson and they lost that other guy, I can't think of his name, at running back. So other people are going to have to step up. And I think they will. They'll find somebody that can carry the rock and get them 1,000 yards as far as for the season. But Ewers has got to... it's the same thing with him as that I said about Hunter Deckers. If there's a big improvement from the freshman to sophomore year, like there normally is, 9-3 is very reasonable. Okay, if he doesn't improve, well, number one, they'll probably put Arch Manning in. But number two, they probably won't go better than 8-4. So it really depends upon Ewers' play, and can they find a guy to replace Bijan Robinson? Because he was, in fact, I would say he was the best running back in the Big 12 last year. I put TCU at 10-2. Yeah, they lost Max Duggan. I get that. But remember, Duggan was not the starter at the beginning of the year. I should have wrote his name down, but the guy that was going to start last year is back. I'll put his name right there. But I truly think with this new regime at TCU, I like their coaching staff. I think they're not going to be a team that has to rebuild. They're going to be a team that's going to reload. And I can see TCU for the foreseeable future being an 8, 9, 10 win team every year. They're going to be good for quite a while. Unless their coach goes somewhere else. Unfortunately, money makes the world go around, and somebody offers him $10 million a year at some big school, he might take it. I don't know. Finally, last but not least, my pick, and I know it's not a controversial pick at all, but my pick to win the Big 12 this year is Kansas State. Let me tell you why. 2 words: Will Howard. I saw him, yes, 2020, COVID year. They only had a limited amount of seats available, and you had to be like 6 feet apart and all that jazz. I was there in Manhattan. I saw Will Howard play, and he struggled. Fast forward 2 years, I saw him last year. He looked much better, vastly improved. And granted, they lost Deuce Vaughn, but I believe that this coaching staff that they got from North Dakota State is they're like 90 to 95% the same as the way Bill Snyder did things. And I just love the way they do things. They're very disciplined. They don't make mental mistakes. They work really well as a team. They may not get 5-star athletes, but these guys work together as a team. And I just love how they have a running quarterback. And I love how that one play, especially near the goal line, where the quarterback will take the ball and it looks like he's running, and all of a sudden he just stops and lobs it to the tight end. It's a great play. It's something you always have to watch out for when you play the Wildcats. But I said they were going to go 11-1. Could they go undefeated? It's possible. So this is going to be really weird because not everybody's going to play everybody. But yeah, I'm basically predicting a repeat of last year's Big 12 championship game of Kansas State and TCU. Those 2 teams, in my opinion, are above everybody else. Now, Oklahoma State doesn't have to play Texas, TCU, Baylor, or Tech, so that record might not. They may do better than that. They may go 9-3. They could go 10-2. I don't know. It really depends upon as long as Alan Bowman can stay healthy, Oklahoma State's going to do really well. But I'm excited because I think, top to bottom, probably with the exception of UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston, I think these teams, top to bottom, are good teams. I think that you can't take any Saturday off. I really think that these are going to be very exciting, competitive matches or football games. So, I do have some information about like quarterbacks and how they're ranked from top to bottom. I'm later on in this week, I'll do a video on that. I'm trying to think. My fiance is going to go with me to Florida. So when we do the Florida trip, my goal is to do Florida Atlantic, Miami, and Florida International. I don't know if we can get any others in that weekend, but we'll try. But if you are new to the channel, please hit like and subscribe. I know it's a little bit longer than normal, but I had to cover 14 teams and explain my rationale behind why I put them in that order. So I want to thank you for watching, and please, if you are new, please hit like and subscribe. Somehow I made this trip to North Carolina, and I ended up losing a few people when I got back. So I don't know what's going on. So it's all good. God willing, we'll get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So thank you for watching, and as always, go Pokes.